Hey, I'm back. This is Chandler from Melda Production. Today I'm going to kind of do a follow-up to something I did a long time ago, and that is making a drone sound that you can use while you're playing something on your guitar or singing, etc. Something that make it kind of sound like a synthesizer in the background, but it's actually not. It's just an impulse response. In the previous video, I showed you how you could make an impulse response like that using MComb or MConvolutionMB, and this one, I'll show you how you can use that to create like an interesting soundscape. So I have it here, and I'll just let you hear it before we make it. So it sounds like this. So you can hear it sounds a little bit synthish, but it's not a synthesizer at all. It's all just coming from this reverb because I'm using some, I guess, interesting resonating impulse responses. As I said, I made those using MComb so just make the resonating filters. But if you just use those, I think it doesn't sound as good. This way, I think sounds a little bit better. So I'll just go back to here, set it to default, and let's get started. So I'm doing this and making it multi-band. Uh, but I'll show you kind of a basic idea of what I'm doing first. So here, just choose something here. Let's say here, if I play through it. You hear all these sound different. What I do is I take some IR like this, and basically I try to extend it using a reverb after it. And it's really easy in here because we can just take this and then go to B here, like this. Choose an IR if we wanted to, but in here, let's try something like this. Reverb here. I'll just set this to B here. And this is completely synthetic. You can set this up in lots of different ways. What I'm going to do is I'll leave the length, the size, I'll change it all to late, and we're just going to turn off the decay here. Boom, like that. We can get rid of the dampening like this too, and let's just hear this. Now what we're going to do is just set it to serial, so that way it goes through A and then into B, as opposed to now where you're setting the ratio. So just set this to serial. Actually, I'll play it first. Here's A by itself. Okay, let me find something a little bit more interesting. Kind of an interesting one. And so we set it to serial. So you can see each one of these has a different character. So let's get on to making the final sound. Basically what we want to do is take this and use the resonating IR is this character, and then set this long IR here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create 3 bands here. Just click on 3. It'll erase everything, but I don't care. The lowest band here, let's set it, maybe like 200, 250 or so. We're going to solo it. And for this one, I don't want it resonating in the low frequencies. I kind of want this to be more sparkly. So I'm just going to set the reverb here. Just change it to reverb. Listen to this. Actually, let me set this to 100%. Not too long as I have the decay on. So that's good. I don't want a really long bassy reverb tail. Let's move up here. I'm going to move this down just a little bit, maybe like 1050 or so is good. Even though it seems like a really narrow band, this is actually like really important band, this mid-range. This is where like most of the music lies. And so from here, we're going to go to the custom path, and we're going to get that resonating reverb. So go custom path here. It should be on my desktop here. C major tone resonator. So this is just C major resonating IR like this. Actually, let's move this to 100%, and turn this down because this can get loud. So I'll play it a little bit. Hopefully you can hear it resonating with C major. Hopefully it might have clipped there a little bit. I'm sorry about that. If it did, I'll put that limiter on and I can turn it down just a little bit, maybe -5. So I think that's sounding all right. And we're going to do the same trick again. We're going to go to B. We're going to use reverb here. Turn this off. Make sure this. And we're going to set this to serial again. Still getting a little bit loud there, so just take this down a little bit more. I don't want it to clip. And so if I put this, I guess I could do wet dry here, and you can hear me playing at the same time. A little bit hard for me to hear. I hope that's coming through in the video, but you get the idea. Let's do one more thing to make this a little bit more interesting. While I have this soloed, I'm going to set it at 100%, and we're going to add some modulation. If you look in the advanced settings here, you'll see we have modulation depth and rate. I'm going to set this maybe around close to 6, and I'll just move this up and play something until it sounds good. I think that setting sounds good. Now, since this sounds good, we're going to do the last band. And this one we're going to do almost the exact same thing, except we're going to transpose that IR. So we have the custom path here. We're going to go back into the desktop, use that C major tone resonator. I might have to move this down a little bit, but since it's so high, I may not have to do quite as much. But you might be thinking like, okay, like how are you going to change the tone from C major? I'm going to change this to G major. So that's both those chords are in the same key of C. So it should sound like something like this. Probably can't hear that too well, but that's the type of sound I'm going for. And to do that, what I'm going to have to do is go into advanced settings here, and we're going to have to move this up using the pitch shift. So that should be, let's count on my guitar. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up. Set it like that. Now, when I play it 100% wet, and I play especially a G arpeggio, it should come through. Seems like it's resonating correctly. Let's do the same trick we did before. Set this to B, reverb, decay off, set it to serial. Sounding good. We're going to do the exact same thing again with the modulation. Now to me that's sounding pretty good, but let's put it all together here. Hopefully it won't get too loud. I'll turn it down a little bit, and let's move the wet dry down so you can hear me playing a bit too. So here we go. I'll just noodle around in C major. Now to me, that's sounding pretty good. Oh, I could change this to late. And of course, you can adjust the different settings in here if you want more or less modulation. One thing you can also do, you can try widening it a bit. Sometimes that sounds good, sometimes it doesn't. I'll see here if it does sound good. So that's something you can do. You can also delay the left or right to get a little bit more width. Sometimes that's good. Sometimes it's bad. Let's hear. Sounds all right there. Now, normally you have to kind of be careful with phase problems doing something like this, but I think in a case of something like this is kind of a background sound. So if there's a little bit of phasiness or it kind of disappears, I think it might even add to the sound. It's not so bad, especially when it's divided into different frequencies like this. So that's just my opinion, but I'll let you judge to see if it's good or not. So we had those two chords playing at the same time. I think that sounds good, but that's just my opinion. You, of course, could try different chords. Actually, I haven't tried this. I want to see if I can do C and D together. So this one's on G now, pitched like, actually, not there. Here is where it's pitched up to 7. I wonder what happens if I move it up 2, so that way it's more of a Lydian sound. So now I have a Aeolian sound, I guess. That was wrong. I switched to Lydian too soon. So if I change this to 2, listen to this now. So now it's in a different key. See if I can get more of a C Lydian sound out of this. Oh, so it actually worked there. Of course, there's all sorts of chord combinations you can come up with. I thought I had a C minor tone resonator too, which I should probably make if I haven't. But you can create all sorts of things with this by combining chords together to create interesting soundscapes. You could even put delays on this and all sorts of other things. But I hope I gave you some good ideas that you can experiment with and have fun with yourself. If you like this, give me a thumbs up. Leave me any questions or comments down below, and be sure to check out all the other plugins at meldaproduction.com. Till next time, see you.